your sheep can be in wet areas where the cows can't be, and just the sheepy different things. Hey, there goes a pheasant.
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool.
Okay. This here is a solar fence charger. It's just a cheapo off Amazon. We have 3 of these, and they do an exceptional job. And the reason for that is you can see the wire goes out to our poultry, and we basically run a wire around the chicken coop or the poultry pen, and that keeps all the predation out. So we don't have issues with predation. But I just wanted to stop and let you see that. There's just one ground rod on it. One ground rod right there. And we just extend instead of moving the fence or in a T-post all the time, we just use temporary fencing and take it to the chicken coops. Now when we get out here, we got geese, so they're a little on the noisy side. Geese aren't my idea. I got this idea from Rob. Where's he at? He's the guy that's, I guess, planted the seeds on both of these. Him and I have been talking about a lamb tractor for, better part of a year, huh, Rob? The lamb tractor. Him and I have been throwing ideas back and forth for a better part of a year. And then he's also suggested the geese, because geese don't require grain. Geese can be raised efficiently on just grass. Now, we do grain them, obviously, because we have the chickens and we also have the turkeys. But geese can live on just grass. So, and whenever they eat grass, they poop a lot too. And as well as I do, is manure makes the best fertilizer. And have you looked at the analysis of goose manure? It's pretty rich stuff. Yeah, we get 1 or 2 out every once in a while. You guys ready to go ahead and move it? Go ahead. They're going to go ahead and move it, and then we'll talk more on how we designed it and built it. It pulls hard because of this chicken tractor itself. Oh, they caught one. Keep going. I'll tell you how that turkey survived. You can see underneath there's a piece of tin. That's an anti-kill device, where if you roll them, now that's how it moves. And you've seen the turkey that got rolled. I'm sure he's got some bruises and whatnot, but in a typical chicken tractor, that bird would have been dead. It would have been dead if you have a typical chicken tractor. But if you can see underneath there's a piece of tin, and that's up off the ground to actually let that coop roll right over top of those guys and not kill them. I guess they're going to move the other side too. The reason, that's another style of chicken tractor. That's what we used all last year. We got guineas in there, and guineas are not going to stay in this fence here at all. So that's why the guineas are in there. And Scout, of course, has to follow.
Is there wood all through this pipe?
No.
Just at the corners.
No, there is wood in this. Okay, the way this thing's constructed is we use the triple wall pipe from Home Depot. It's just drain pipe. The reason I used this is we've used the drain pipe in the past, and it's pretty flexible stuff, okay? And so we use this $19 a joint. I think there's 13 joints here. I can't remember. It's 50 feet long and 30 feet wide. But at each joint, we have a piece of wood inside the pipe, and you can see we got it screwed together there and having that piece of wood allows us to drill a hole in the top to put our fiberglass fence posts. Now the corners, the guy that I got the idea from, he used what they call furring coat rubber corners, but they cost 30 bucks a piece, and that's not acceptable here on my farm. So I just took, and you can see the wood that's out there. I just cut it on a 45 and screwed it together. So, and if you look at physics and all the way it's designed, and you've seen how easily that pulled, without that coop on there, one person could move this very easily. But you have to, Rob asked me for a drawing on how to hook the ropes and stuff up, but we need to have these support ropes. There's a support rope that goes up to the corner on each side, and then we have the support rope that pulls the center of the coop up. Did I cover everything? Any questions? What's that? Where did we start at? We would have started. Not with this. Not with this. Up here's where we started. It was right here. Yeah. Yeah, right here is where we started with the chicken tractor, if you want to see. And there's obviously you can see the difference in the grass. I mean, there's a huge difference in the grass. I don't know, there might be a third more grass there from where we started. In the color, yeah. Now, the way that's designed, we can turn that. There's a fence right over here. It takes a wide turn, but we can actually, as we get to the other end, we'll start dragging it towards the fence, and then we can make a slow turn over a course of 4 or 5 days. So it turns pretty easily for as big as it is.
When we turned it, it took 3 days.
It took 3 days? Yeah. So.
Could you do it in a half hour if you had to?
What? Turn it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we just kept moving them to new grass, and it took 3 days to make the full turn. So, questions on that?
Russ?
Yes, sir.
In terms of your netting, is that leftover netting, or are you able to buy netting like that? It's just the netting.
You can. The Chinese sell it. But most of the netting is Chinese, actually. But you can buy it. That is electronet there, but it's just netting that I had laying around. Yeah. But you know, anything that you keep inside of a net, you can use this pen for. You know, anywhere, hogs, chickens, sheep, and I think you're talking putting sheep in it, right? I think you were talking like putting 100 in there or something.
Oh,
No. No. Okay, he must have been pulling my leg that day. He likes to do that to me.
He was going to have 5 of them with 20 in each.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, 20 would be a good number in there, and that would put the pressure on the soil. And I've been able to fix soil with sheep that I can't fix with cows. Sheep do an amazing job. And you can see the hose here. The hose that we have, that's actually hooked into the barn over there, and there's 1,000 feet there. And you say, well, that's crazy expensive. I have less than $100 invested. It's just it's the Rainbird tubing, 1/2 inch. You can buy 500 feet for 34 bucks, and then you put a pressure regulator on it. If you just want to do it, put water to wherever on your farm. I could water all my cows with this Rainbird water pipe and not have any issues at all. So water is the biggest problem for livestock producers, and this here's an alternative. Is it going to last as long as pipe? Probably not. You know, regular, 200 psi pipe No, it's not going to last as long. You can't bury it because it will pinch off, but it will get you through the summer, and you'll be able to keep your livestock where they need to be versus bringing them back to a water source or a fixed water point, which that's one of the biggest faults that we have, is having a fixed watering point.
What about the water getting too hot?
In this pipe, it's not so bad because normally in the growing season, normally the most of it is shaded. The grass usually grows up over it and it shades it. If you look in this pen here that they just moved, the smaller pen, there's a 5-gallon bucket in there. And actually what I did is I took a $2.50 valve that I bought off Amazon, and I put it inside that 5-gallon bucket, and then it gravity flows into the water. You can see the back here in this back corner. I don't know if you've seen the blue watering cups. That water actually comes out of a 5-gallon bucket on gravity flow. And the other one has a similar watering setup, but it's also gravity flow. And we use that setup with our hogs as well, is we run the water into a 5-gallon bucket, and then we gravity flow out of that. And pigs are notorious for playing in water, so you want it gravity flow. You can't put pressure on it or you're gonna have a pond beside your water.
What do you do for water when it's freezing?
When it's freezing, we're gonna get into that more. Now, like the birds, we'll water them twice a day by hand. Now the cows, I have a setup or a system that we use that's basically frost proof. I have folks that have used it up in Saskatchewan, Canada, negative 34 degrees, and it still works, okay? And we'll talk about that later. We have 200 birdhouses on the farm. I don't know if you noticed on the other farm, almost every fence post has a birdhouse on it. We don't use pesticides or any type of fly control, none, zero. They are fly control. We probably had 200 tree swallows and about 60 to 80 bluebirds here. They left, the tree swallows and the barn swallows finally left us about mid-August, and we did see a huge difference in our fly pressure. So they were doing their job. They were doing exactly what they needed to do. Now, I encourage you now, if you notice, my first birdhouse starts away from the buildings. You want to try and keep your birdhouses away from your buildings because the sparrows will take over your birdhouses and won't allow the other birds to nest. So try and keep them out in the open, out into the fields. And I face all mine east. You can see over here, there is a bluebird in that one. I can see the male and the female over there in that one with the red top on it. There's actually birds still in it. So I kind of doubt if they're acting like they have babies in there, but it's awful late in the year for that. Usually when they roast on the side like that, they usually have fledglings in there. So that's almost what it's acting like. There's some more. I see 4 more bluebirds flying. You know, they've been very, very helpful for us. Caterpillar problems, the bluebirds are more into caterpillars and stuff like that. And then the tree swallows and the barn swallows, they're more into flies and stuff like that. Now we have chimney swifts. We have a nest of chimney swifts that live in that back chimney on my house. And then we also have purple martins that we encourage. And you can see on the red building and the corner of the barns are bat houses. We have bat houses here, and we do have a great number of bats. The bats have actually come back in population, so I'm pretty happy about that. My next venture with encouraging wildlife onto the farm is I want to have cliff swallows. I think they're just some of the coolest birds there is. They do build mud houses on the side of your barns, but they're a cool little bird. So I'm going to encourage some cliff swallows and they actually stay later into the year than the barn or the tree swallows do. So we're going to encourage. That's my next venture. I always wanted to try and encourage barn owls, but The Game Commission biologist, that's one of her specialties in our area, and she says there is no barn owls here to have as far as nest. Now, I came from Jefferson County, and they have tons of barn owls over there, but we don't have them here. So we'll just have to stick with our, we have barred owls, gray horned owls, and we have a lot of screech owls. No, they're cool. They're cool little birds. They make some of the... Oh, yeah. Yeah, the screech owls are one of the nicest sounds there is, so... Okay, let's hoof it back to the other farm. I'm riding a short bus, so if you'd like to join us, you're more welcome.